Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always such an honor and such a pleasure that you'll actually spend some time with us, and I definitely appreciate it. It's not because of me, it's also because of our awesome guests. You can find us on television two different ways. You can find us on channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's in Huntsville, Alabama. You can also find us on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Now, that's a worldwide one there. You can also find us on our podcast, thenewscasters.com, and on the radio, the biggest country station in South Carolina, WZLA Radio, and we're so proud to be part of that team as well. Make sure you do listen to that station. You can find them online as well. Continue sending email. I get a kick out of it. I just love hearing from you. Phil can tell you, when I get email from you, I just get giddy inside. It's just so much fun that you would actually send an email. It's an honor. It really is. I have Julia Christine with me right now. Julia also has a podcast and go-to person for relationships and, and questions that you guys have. You've sent quite a few. Go on ahead, though, Julia, and talk about your podcast and tell folks where they can find you.
Sure. It's funny because my podcast isn't necessarily about relationship. It's actually about your relationship with yourself. And we'll get into that more, too, when we start answering some of these questions. But my podcast is called Life After Breath. And because I truly believe that stopping and taking some actual deep breaths and recentering yourself literally allows you to live your best life. And so it's pretty much a daily podcast. So it's every day, it's about 5 to 10 minutes. And it's literally like 3 to 5 minutes of me talking about how to live that best life and different perspectives about how to approach various things. And then also taking some time to breathe together and just center. I give little challenges for the day about like where to put your focus and how to step away and how to maybe look at things a little differently. And so it's just a little bit of a motivation. I encourage you to listen to it in the morning to start your day because I love starting my day that way. But I know people that listen to it before bed or in the middle of the day when they need a break from the chaos. So it's just, you can find it on any of your podcast listening platforms, Life After Breath.
Well, usually middle of the day is good for me because I have to get really early for recordings. It's about the middle of the day, right before I go outside to the garden.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, like usually for most people, the first thing you do in the morning is get up and go to the bathroom. So what are you doing while you're sitting there? You can take some deep breaths. You don't have to do it with me, but take some deep breaths and get yourself centered so that you start your day at a calm and ease-filled place and not in the chaos of our heads.
That's true. I need to really try that. I really do. That means I'll have to get up about 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, it doesn't. You literally 2 minutes, 3 deep breaths is going to help focus you. We think we have to devote all this time. I need 10 minutes. I need 20 minutes no, you don't. You need 3 breaths and you can stop and you can stand still and close your eyes or sitting on the toilet. I'm not kidding. And just take some deep breaths at a stoplight. Take some deep breaths and allow yourself to release the to-do list, release all of the pressure and come to a center-filled place. And from there, you'll know what to do first. I'm a to-do list person. I keep myself super busy. Our problem with to-do lists is that we have 20 things on the list and we start to feel like we have to do them all at the same time. And that's not possible. So taking some deep breaths allows you to kind of ask yourself, your inner self, what's the first logical thing for me to do? And you approach that one thing and it leads you to the next thing and it leads you to the next thing. And now all of a sudden you are moving through your life smoothly with ease and quickly instead of all the chaos and feeling like if I run around and feel chaotic, I'm getting more done. When in actuality, you're not and you're driving yourself a little crazy.
I think so too. But I
Take
want
some
to ask
breaths.
one other thing,
Get yourself
because
focused.
we're in the South here in South Carolina, and I'm telling you, we're going to hit 90 degrees by Friday. So how is the weather?
I was going to say, I'm so jealous. I'm freezing.
I was going to ask, how is it in New York?
I mean, I'm in a turtleneck.
I see. And here I am in
I
South
will,
Carolina.
I will say it is getting warmer, and we actually have, I think on Wednesday we're supposed to hit maybe almost 80 degrees, something like that. I run cold, so most people aren't as cold as I am. But yeah, I decided I was going to stay nice and comfy and cozy for today because it's probably about 50 degrees outside, but that to me feels like 40. So,
I'm cold natured too. So
right,
I'm actually dreading the summertime because Phil will have it. The air will be where you could freeze meat. I mean, it is so cold.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm also my apartment is in the back of the apartment buildings. There's a courtyard, so I don't get direct sun. So my apartment tends to stay cooler, especially in the winter. So yeah, so I keep blankets around and wear my sweaters longer than most people. But it has been beautiful. The spring is really starting to spring. We've got all of our tulips and daffodils coming out along the parks and stuff, and all the little buds on the trees. So it is always fun to watch spring.
I'm always ready. Always.
Yeah.
We have quite a few email.
Okay.
This week and this month, and a lot of it has to do with relationships. But I really wanted to kind of key on one from Nicole.
Okay.
And I think I have it probably right up here on my screen. Okay, so she's been in several relationships, and they all go bad.
Okay.
And so she's not sure what the problem is. She says she feels like she's a magnet for bad relationships. But she wants to know if you have any warning signs that she should not ignore. She's kind of going out a different way in a relationship.
Yeah, I absolutely have some things to not ignore. I won't say warning signs. I'm not going to use like red flags and stuff like that. But I want to kind of give you a little bit of a different perspective. Mm-hmm. When we're talking about relationships, and specifically for you, Nicole, you're looking at the people and wondering what's wrong with them, what's like what to look for in those people. And I want to kind of give you a little bit of tough love and tell you that what's most important is for you to start with yourself. And I'm not going to give you that cliche of you got to love somebody, you got to love yourself before somebody can love you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's really important to start listening to yourself and not looking outside of yourself for an answer. You know when how someone treats you doesn't feel good. Your body reacts. You know when someone isn't right, when something isn't right, when a situation isn't right. So I want to encourage you to really start to listen to your body's reactions. Your heart beats faster. You start breathing heavier. Maybe your stomach falls out. Sometimes I get like the heebie-jeebies, and for some reason, my skin's crawling. And I know I got to leave this conversation, this space, what I'm watching, or this, who is approaching me. I'm not okay with this. Really, really, really start listening to your body. It is your inner being or your consciousness or your intuition telling you. Your body is those signals, gives you those signals. And that is what we listen to in order to live our best life and to be guided towards what's quote unquote right for you. Now, I truly, truly don't believe that there is such thing called toxic relationships. There is toxic behavior, and someone's behavior, like Donna, for example, you and I could be having a conversation with one person and I find their behavior toxic or damaging or harmful, and you could be totally fine with it. So it's going to be different for everyone. So I'm not going to give you some blanket statement. I'm not going to start labeling people as narcissistic or anything like that. There's no need for us to label that. What it is to pay attention to how someone else's behavior makes us feel. And if it doesn't feel good, you have a choice. You can see if that continues and if it's something that you are willing to or / want to put up with, or you can walk away. You can step away and say, I'm not cool with that kind of behavior. You can say that to them, or you can just say it to yourself, depending on where you are in the relationship. I do believe as far as being a magnet. Energy is very important. And Donna, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Everything is energy. We're energy. There's energy all around us, everything like that. Where you put your focus, you are putting energy. So if you continue to focus on the quote unquote fact that you are a magnet for bad people, you are essentially making that true. Mm-hmm. And so when people say things about themselves, and this happens with me and my clients and just my friends, they'll say something like, I'm a magnet for bad people. And I'll look at them and I'll say, do you really want to claim that for yourself? Do you want that to be true? Because if you do, keep saying it. And if you don't, stop saying it. Redirect that thought to be, in the past, I've had experiences with people that didn't work out for me. What can I do different to make sure that that's not true for me anymore? Mm-hmm. And you can even say that used to be true for me. That is no longer my truth. I'm moving forward in a different direction so that is no longer true. And I am excited about the people in my life that are coming into my life that are exactly what I need. And I'm exactly what they need. And the more you think about that, the more you're going to put that energy into, let's say, attracting those people. But most importantly, you are opening yourself up for that type of person. You are allowing yourself to be more aware of people who aren't that person. Do you see what I mean? Because your focus has changed, because your energy has shifted from everything bad happens to me to, you know what? I'm no longer going to believe that. And I am worthy and open to everything good happening to me. And that is your power. That is you in control. You don't have control over anyone else's behavior or over anyone else's red flags or anything else. You have control of you and your thoughts and where you put those thoughts and how you talk to yourself. Start there. The more you value yourself and realize your worth and start to imagine that beautiful person who treats you with the respect that you deserve, who values you as much as you know you deserve to be valued. Those types of things, that is going to not just generate them coming into your life, but it's going to empower you to realize when you're not getting that. And then you can listen to those signals to know that's not good enough for me. I deserve more.
Let me ask you a question. And Nicole, we're not picking on you. We're helping you here.
No, not at all.
This is a question that I would ask myself. Is it acceptance of myself, whether I accept myself or not accept myself? Could that be part of the issue?
It's less, I wouldn't use the word accepting. I would use the word value. And I would use the idea, like I was telling you earlier, I actually had a conversation with a client about this today, about how we are really good at finding fault in ourselves and being the problem and being like, oh, I said something wrong. And I know that I affected this person because I know how they are and they disagree with me. So I must have offended them. And then we start reading into their behavior. They left early or they seemed distant. It's probably in your head because you've decided you've offended them. And then you start fabricating stories. We all do it. And so instead of doing that, pull yourself back and be like, what if nobody's at fault? What if I didn't do anything wrong? What if we have differing opinions? That's actually a beautiful thing. We don't have to be angry about that. And like understanding that you don't always do things wrong. You don't always choose the wrong person. Maybe, and this honestly really happens when I'm assuming people like Nicole are empathetic and loving and helpful and want to nurture people. And so then we see somebody and we can do that for them. And all of a sudden we start generating a love for this person because we're taking care of them. And we open ourselves up and go into a relationship as the person who does it all. And then when we need something done for us, they're not there because they're not used to being the doer. They're used to being the receiver. And so there is a little bit of my responsibility for setting up that relationship that way. And so allowing yourself to be okay. Like let go of the rights and the wrongs and the faults and the definitions and the diagnoses of different personalities and behaviors, and just step back away from all of that and ask yourself, what about these situations am I in control of? Knowing my value, understanding my worth, knowing what I want, knowing how I want to be treated. And here's the thing, maybe you don't know that. And so as far as like appreciating yourself, and I can't remember the word you used, but like learn to understand your value, learn to understand your power, start asking yourself, what do I want? Because so much of us don't know. So many of us don't know. We're told what we want. We are given things as children. We are told, we ask preschoolers what they want to be when they grow up. So we're already enforcing a work thing. Pull yourself away from all the shoulds. By this age, you should be married. You should have a family. You should work a career 30 years and retire with that company. No, there's no should in your life because it's your life. What do you want? Not what has everybody told you. What do you want? And that takes time to figure out with yourself, because for your entire life, you've followed what you should be doing. Mm-hmm. We all do it.
Let me ask you another question. And this one comes from, I just lost it. Okay, this one comes from Rachel. And she wanted to know, is there a difference between falling in love and falling in lust? She thinks that may be where she went wrong in life.
Okay. First of all, I want to release you from having gone wrong. There's no right or wrong. You're living your life. You've made choices. You've made mistakes. You've made successes. Mm-hmm. There's no wrong. There's no fault. If we stop trying to find blame and fault, we're going to relieve ourselves of a lot of burdens, including of the fault and blame we put on ourselves. So first of all, you haven't done anything wrong.
It's a waste of life, actually.
Well, it's how we're trained to think. Mm-hmm. We're trained to be at fault, to apologize, on every, like literally before you apologize next time, ask yourself if you're really sorry or if you're saying sorry because you're supposed to, And truly, I want people, my deepest desire is for people to follow how they feel, not how the world has told us we're supposed to live, because there's no such thing. But anyway, the thing is that the word lust is a trigger word. The word lust has been, let's say, capitalized on by churches, by religious groups, by politics, by judgmental systems, let's say, because lust equals bad, lust equals evil, lust equals one of the main deadly sins. No, lust and attraction, and that part of us is natural. It is a human thing. We are trained that it's bad so that we avoid it. Because so much of what we're trained about is to keep us from living the lives that we want. There is nothing wrong with being in lust with someone and absolutely craving their touch. In fact, it's an amazing part of being in love. There's an amazing part of a relationship, whether it is a permanent relationship or a lover relationship or a one-night stand. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And again, if we take all of the shoulds and shouldn'ts off of what love means, off of what any of that means, you're going to free yourself up. And I know that belief systems get in the way of that sometimes. And you're entitled to your belief systems, and you can still lust after someone and be a believer. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so there are two sides to that coin. Both of those things can be true. Understanding that lust is a natural part of who you are and accepting that is important. I think that the other part of this is the love part. We have put so much pressure on what it means to be in love. And let's take the Disney part out of falling in love, right? We have fantasized what it means to love. And it doesn't have to mean that. You can have a deep love for someone that you're not going to marry. I have met people that I love. I love how they make me feel, even if it's lustful feelings. I love how they fulfill those lustful feelings. I love how they're always there for me. I love how I can depend on them to eat my food and to always love what I cook. And I love that about them. That doesn't mean I'm quote unquote in love with them. It doesn't mean that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. Allow yourself to free up and ask yourself, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to be in love? When you have someone in your life who ticks those boxes of what you want in a partner, in someone, is it that they're always there for you and you are always there for them? Is it that you can have a bad day and they're still cool with it? Is it that you can have a bad day they can have a bad day and you can be cool with it? Is there an exchange? Is there loving words? What do you need? And are they ticking those boxes? Mm-hmm. And some of that is lust and is craving and attraction and all of those things. I think how I would phrase that question is less about lust and love and more about, do you see something in this person that you're with, knowing the potential of that person, seeing who and how they could be, still wanting them and craving them. And that's where it feels lustful. I want this relationship. And there's so much I love about them, but they're still falling short because as much as I see the potential of who they could be, they're not being that person for me. I know it's in them. We talk about it all the time, but they're not being that person. And so I have these loving feelings, and yes, there's this lustful desire, but they're sort of falling short because they're not fulfilling the potential. And I have done this multiple times. Be aware that you're not in love with or loving the potential of a person.
I think you just hit it. Yeah.
What was that?
I think you just hit it because sometimes we get in fairyland and we think, well, I think this person is this particular way, and they're nowhere near that.
Well, and it's not even fairyland. You see it in them. You know it's possible. Like they're just, if you would just do this, I see that you would be this amazing person. Just change this one perspective. But that's not within your control, and you can't change them. And while you can see it within them, if they're not giving you that, if they're not showing you that, then you aren't loving who they actually are. You've got to take who they are at face value, their behaviors, their interactions, all of it, and say, I know you can do better, and that's what I'm in love with, or everything you're doing is fine, and I love that of you. And so often, that's actually the no.
But aren't you changing that person? So I've got my little Cinderella dream of what somebody I think should be like, and I'm trying to change them. That's not them at all. I mean, is that fair to the person?
It's not fair to the person, but because I believe that a relationship, so often we look at the other person instead of ourselves in a relationship. I want to tell you that you're not being fair to yourself. You're selling yourself short because you're falling in love with an idea of what could be instead of what actually is. And whether you think you can or not, no one can ever change another person. I can influence you and I can spark you to think about something a different way, but you are responsible for the changes in your life. I don't change you. You change you. Maybe something I said makes you think differently so that then you make changes. Beautiful. But you are ultimately making the changes. And so in no way, shape, or form can you ever change anyone. You can't help someone unless they receive your help. That help is their responsibility. And so that's a part about, we feel like we get so involved in another person's life. Oh, I know how they think. No, you don't. You could never understand somebody's thinking because you haven't lived their life, because you're not in their head as well as you know Phil. You don't know how he thinks. You can guess and you're pretty in tune with it, but you don't know. And so often we find ourselves in these traps of thinking somebody's thinking something, and then we have expectations that are skewed from that. We fail disappointment. No, stop pretending that you know.
That's how arguments start.
Oh my gosh.
You think that they think this, they think that they think that you think all this stuff.
And you create these beautiful stories. I am a great storyteller to myself until I realize, whoa, whoa, whoa. And the thing is what are you actually in control of? That's it. I am not in control of how someone else lives their life, conducts their day, shows up for me. Well, and so when you can let go of
that releases a lot of bad energy. I mean, it really does.
See, there we go about energy again. I don't think that there is bad energy. It's just energy that doesn't serve you. It's getting in your way. It's blocking you. And we look at that as bad. But in actuality, it's just not ours. It's like wearing clothes that don't fit you. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work for me. So is that piece of clothing bad? No, it just doesn't fit. Get rid of it. Same thing with the energy, with people in your lives. We honestly, I think it is so important to have these conversations because we need to normalize relationships ending, friendships ending. The fact that we serve purposes in each other's lives, and sometimes we finish that and we can move on. And when we try to make it work and, oh my gosh, I need to call this person and I love them so much. I love the people that I've let go of in my life, but we don't need each other anymore. And so it's okay for us to move forward in our own lives and not necessarily be connected in the way that we were when we supported each other to get to this point.
I've got to tell you this. Okay. So in my family, nasty divorces happen a lot. Okay. I mean, it's like the woman just wants to okay, she wants alimony and she wants child support, but she wants the guy to not have a job and all that, which never made sense to me. Okay, so you want alimony and you want child support, but you don't want him to make make a living. It makes no sense. So short story. Okay, so I was married once before and I would marry the guy again. I mean, I really would. And because we had a beautiful son come out of this relationship. And so my parents went through this really nasty divorce. And I always tell myself, I'm not going to do that. If I get a divorce, it's not going to be that way. Mm-hmm. So what we did, we were actually, we were separated for over a year and the family didn't even know about it. But I was living in one place, he was living in another place. So what we did is I called this attorney friend of mine, and his name is, used to be a state senator in Alabama, G is his last name. And I said, I'm just going to give you a scenario. I said, I just want to ask a question. So if a couple gets a divorce, or they're getting a divorce and they actually go to you together and they half everything they have and they say it's just not working out, can two people go to one attorney? And they said, well, I've never heard of it, but yeah, you can. And I said, so you could actually go, in essence, you could go to an attorney, pay how much? And he said, $300. And I said, okay. So it could be mapped out, go to you. And he said, yeah. So I talked with my ex and I mentioned that to him. And I said, you know what happened to mother and daddy's stuff? It wound up going to court costs and legals and all this kind of stuff. Most of it went there. I said, we don't love each other, and I want you to have the best life out. And I know you want me to have the best life too. And we got a beautiful son out of all this. And I said, we can go to Doug's office. The divorce is done. And it costs $300. He was so relieved, first of all. He was afraid I'd
you're totally proving my point. Because we are trained, again, to look at relationships that don't work as failures.
No way.
Businesses that are failed businesses. No, they just ended. We had 10 years of a great business. We were there for our clients. They loved us. We provided them this. And whether it was the economy or things we did, or we just nobody was happy anymore, nobody needed our products anymore, whatever it is, the business ended. And by saying it was a failure, you're kind of taking away all of the things that were good that happened. And then you could say, well, nothing good happened. Cool. You learned something from it, though. You grew. There's something to be had. And there was a reason for that happening. And regardless of the reason, you don't have to think of the reason. You know it happened, and now I'm ready to move on. There's nothing bad about that. There's nothing You didn't fail. That relationship that you had was not a failure. It lasted the time it needed to last, and then it was over. It just ended. Why is that such a
well-grounded son came out of this? Like perfectness as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and even if it didn't, I haven't had any children, and I've had amazing relationships, and they ended.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm really glad they did, because it wasn't working or whatever happened. Doesn't mean that I didn't love them. It doesn't take any of that away.
Oh my
It
goodness.
means it ended. And it can be that simple, but we got to release all the pressure and the onus around like making it a failure. Just nobody's fault, nobody to blame, no fail. It is what it is. It was what it was. Let it be.
Just go. Just let it go. Let it go.
Let it be.
It has to go into a commercial break, but I got to say this. Because my parents went through this really rotten divorce, and I'm just telling you, when you people have good divorces and you fight in front of your kids, tell them you hate each other and all this kind of stuff, all you're doing is damage to your kids. Don't do that. I'm just telling you, don't do it. My son is free to talk about his dad to me. And then it's the same, but he'll talk about me to his dad. So that's just the way it should be. Okay. You got a kid come out of it. You better be good to the kids.
It's the way it is. And it's the way your son is. Not every child would be that way. And so that doesn't make the other child wrong. It's not, it's just the way it is. It's so important to hold on to things loosely. And I can talk to you about that later. I have a whole there's two different scenarios that I have about how we hold on to something. And that's why I don't say let go anymore, because that's letting it go completely. Mm-hmm. I want you to let it be. Let it be what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not right. It's not wrong. We don't have to label it. Just let it be what it was. Let it be what it is, mm-hmm. and move forward.
It just is.
It just is.
When you move forward, everybody else does as well. Okay, let's go into a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakelands Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? a pound of cure. So what is the beamer? Okay, now the beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk beamer and circulation support. Now the beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching Your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. I have Julia Christine with me right now, and Julia, you got a lot of email.
I love that so much.
Relationships, and again, it's the way you look at things. So I remember when I got my divorce, and I didn't tell my parents until we were almost divorced before I even told them. So they were going, well, then what'd you get a divorce for? I mean, it's like they thought you had to be arguing with each other. You had to be fighting. You had to be doing all this stuff. And I said, we grew apart. And so, I mean, we love our son. There's just nothing else. Like, I could not think of a single thing to say. It was just like,
well,
we just did.
We are, again, so influenced by the world around us. And that's part of what I mean when I say stop looking to outside sources. You know what's right for you. You and your partner knew it was the right thing to do to divorce. And everybody and their mom can question that. It's none of their damn business, excuse me, but it's not their relationship. And so when you are worried about what other people are thinking, when you say, well, this person said this and this person's going to think that, and this, Donna's not going to like that I wore a turtleneck and it's spring and summer. Who's the subject of that sentence? Donna is the subject of the sentence. My parents had a problem with my divorce. Who's the subject of that sentence? Your parents. So what do you have to do with that? I'm not going to say it's none of your business because that rubs people the wrong way, but I'm going to say it's not yours. You don't have to take it on.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a problem with your divorce, who's the subject of the sentence? They are. So it's not yours. Put it down. Don't pick it up. Don't carry it with you. It's not yours. It's them to deal with. And if they are that worried about what's going on in your life, they got other things to worry about, like their own lives.
Their own divorce was something that they really needed to study.
Right, exactly. And so the thing is that truly, anytime you're feeling conflicted about somebody else, ask yourself, I do this all the time. It's like my new big thing. Who's the subject of the sentence? Who does it have to do with? And if it's not you, you can let it go. You cannot pick it up. You cannot worry about it. You cannot give it another thought. Because if it isn't you, there's nothing you can do about it. It is absolutely outside of your control. You don't know anybody, anything.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you? What's going on with you? How do you feel about this? I really feel like it was the right choice. Nobody else understands. Cool. It's your life.
It's not
Nobody else has to understand.
I mean, I don't understand why, okay, we're going to have a stretch of weather here in South Carolina. We're not going to have any rain for about 7 days, and we really need it. But you know what? The solution is find a hose pipe, go out and water your garden. I mean, don't worry about it. Don't sit and dwell on it. I mean, there's so many things you can just step over the hurdle. And,
right.
And I've learned to do that in life. Just step over it, go on. You have to move. You have to keep going.
Well, and that gets us back into the powerlessness part of it. Remember that you are in control. And so, yeah, you might have come up against a hurdle. There might be an obstacle in your way. And so then you ask yourself, what about this is within my control? Well, I can let it stop me, but that makes me feel gross and I don't want that because I want blah, 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 blah. Cool. So then what do? What's the best solution? Well, I could go underneath it, but that's going to hurt my back. Okay, so then that's not the option. I could just walk around it. Cool. Or I could pick it up and carry it with me. Do you want to do that? Isn't that going to hurt your back too? Isn't it a little heavy to carry? Does it have anything to do with you?
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes back to asking yourself that question of what about this is within my control? Is this true? Do I want this? And when the answer is no, then you say, okay, I'm going to let it be what it is, and I'm going to keep living my life and doing the things that I am in control of. Because that's all you got. We can pretend that we're in control of other people, of other things, of what's going on, even the weather. We're not. We're not. The only thing you control is you. And here's a big thing. The only thing you control is you in this moment. Let's say you messed up in the past, because we do.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when, was it Rachel that said she was wrong? You're not wrong. And the more you focus on what happened in the past, the less you're in control of your now, the less present you are in your present, because you're focusing on something that you can't change. It is out of your control. So you leave it there and you move forward. When anxiety is a massive problem in the world, but in our country, why is because people are putting all of their focus on something that is totally outside of their control. And they're making it into stuff that is not true because it hasn't happened. It's probably not going to, because we make everything worse than it's going to be. What if we made everything better than it's going to be? That's going to, take away the anxiety, and we're going to live a much more fun and fancy-filled life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then, or deal with now. Keep your focus now. And now, all of a sudden, you're in complete control. Because you don't have control of the future. You don't have control of the past. You have control of right now. And right now, I want to feel happy. So guess what? I get to make choices that make me happy. And the best part about a choice is that you can make another one. If that was wrong, if it didn't make me happy and I thought it would, I'm going to make a new choice. And that one will likely make me happy based on the information that I just learned by not making a choice that made me happy. Wasn't wrong. It was educational.
Well, we have unnecessary worries. And I have a grandmother that I would say, well, grandmother, what if it snows? What if it rains? What if it does this? What if it does that? Every single time I would say that, my grandmother would say, well, what if pigs had wings?
I was going to say, what if you turned into a purple ball of glitter? It's just as likely to happen as it hailing tomorrow. Like, you don't know. It's just as likely to happen.
Mm-hmm. You just do it.
So why? And I heard somebody say once, worrying is like praying for something bad to happen.
It is.
Because your focus is on something bad. And what do we talk about? Where you put your focus, you draw it towards you. You're putting your energy into it. You're literally putting air into it, like a tire pump.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're putting your focus on it. And so you're putting your energy into it. And you're asking it to happen. And you don't want it to because you're worried about it. It's not a positive thing. So stop thinking about it.
Let's get to this question from Lisa. And
okay.
Because you're going to want to spend some time on this one too. So Lisa said, okay, her parents liked this guy. And so she and this guy got engaged, but the parents liked him. First of all, my parents liking somebody would make me do a second chance. I'd be like, I don't know about this.
Something must be wrong if you like them.
Okay. But anyway, this is the scenario she's giving us. And she said that at first she was okay with him, but she started noticing little things, and her parents, especially her mother, was telling her she was just imagining this stuff. So she got married this guy, and it turned into a terrible relationship. And she said, I kind of take the blame because I should have listened to my own instincts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that that's true. And it's great to own that responsibility and to be able to look at that situation and say, okay, I made this choice based on other people's opinions, even though I saw the quote unquote warning signs. I felt that this wasn't right, but outside voices, the norms of society, I'm of a certain age. If I'm going to get married, I should do it now so that I can have a family and da, 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 da. Now you know that listening to that voice is what's most important. Mm-hmm. Now, cool. That's where you put it down. There's none of this. Lisa, I want to highly encourage you not to go into the should-haves. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done it this way. And if I had done it this way, then I wouldn't be here. And I did it. How is that helpful? It's not helpful. It's going to keep you mad at yourself for making a choice. And like I just said, the best part about making a choice is you can make another one. So make another one and move forward without listening to the outside voices, without listening to society, governments, religions, family, any of that. You follow you and you make the next choice of if it is getting out of that relationship. And I want to tell you, just to give you a little bit of confidence, you're not alone. My mom did the same thing. She actually, when my dad proposed, she said, let me think about it. And to me, if that's your answer, you know the answer. You know what I mean? But she went and told her friends who were like, oh my gosh, you have to say yes. And she did. And let me tell you, I'm glad she did because I'm here. And she's glad she did because my brother and I are here. And ultimately, though, for her, not a great choice, not a great relationship, like to minimize it. You know what I mean? And so she made finally another choice and she got us out of it. Mm-hmm. And we have had an amazing life since. And she's still at 72 and a half years old, thinks about what could have been, the choices she should have made for me and my brother, for this. And what a waste of time. And I talked to her about this, just like I'm talking to you. Stop, put it down. You want to know something? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I have an amazing family. My mom, my brother, and I. That's it. I have an amazing family. We are close and tight-knit. People come to our houses and become family and are like, this is how family's supposed to be. This is what I want for my family. And I ask her, why do you think that is? That's because of you. That's because of the choices that you made. And you can put down all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. First of all, to stay on theme, they're out of your control. And second of all, look at all you've done since. Look at all the things that you've done since. So anyway, all that to say, put it down. You don't have to should on yourself. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's dangerous to should on yourself. It's going to keep you stuck and it's going to make you feel guilty. And shoulds and guilt are like the swamp of despair from the Never-Ending Story, where the more you think about it, the more you get sucked down until you're trapped in the quicksand of ick. And that's what's going to happen. And by shoulding on yourself, it's keeping you in the past and it's keeping you depressed. And now you're on meds and la, 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 la. That's not the life you want. Put it down, move forward and make a new choice. And remember that you already know how to listen to yourself. You didn't. That's okay. You will next time. You will this time. And you will move forward in your life, making the choices that you want to make because you are in control. And your choices and who you are deserves more. I'm not going to say better. It's not a word I like to use because for whatever reason, you learned a lot from that. Even if it's just, I need to follow my intuition. I know better for me than anybody else. And I know that my mom loves me and she wanted me to have a happy relationship. And so she pushed me into this. Let's say I let her push me into this. Mm-hmm. She wants me to be happy. And she thought this would make me happy. And so I'm not going to be angry with her because she just wanted what was best for me. I should have listened to myself, knowing what was best for me, but I'm not going to shit on myself. I'm just going to say, I'm so glad that I now have proof that I can listen to myself, that I know what I'm talking about. I know what it feels like when it's not right.
Well, your body will tell you when you're about to make a mistake.
It's literally our GPS.
Mine
It
does.
tells us exactly what direction to move in.
Whoa, Donna. Whoa. I mean,
Yeah.
you start feeling
Reroute.
feels like it. It's like
Like
radar goes.
literally. Think about your emotions, those feelings of your gut dropping out, the heebie-jeebies, your heart beating faster. Your body reacts for a reason. Then it's what you do with that reaction that matters. And like I said, you make a choice, your body will tell you it's time to reroute.
Oh, your body can take you out of danger. I was on a business trip once coming back home, and it was one of these, it was a huge parking deck, and it was dark. I mean, there were like some light, but one of them was really dark. All of a sudden I didn't see anybody in the hole. And, you know, I'm just old Donna going back to my car, you know, no biggie. But all of a sudden I started sweating.
Yeah.
And it was like something's up. And I wasn't being paranoid. Something was up.
Yeah.
Well, I looked around. There was a guy who started coming at me. Thank God above, there was an elevator, and two guys got off the elevator, and they saw me looking like I was about to pass out probably. And so they came towards me. The guy runs off.
Yeah.
Before I even saw the guy, I felt it.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to your body.
Well, and here's the thing. You feeling it caused you to look around.
Yes.
And now you're aware. And I'm not going to lie, if you can make eye contact with somebody, they're less likely to do something. But also, you had people coming to your rescue, but your body knew, and your body drew it to your attention. So, like, those are kind of extreme situations. It's important to listen to your body in those extreme situations, and also in something like what Lisa was going to, where like there was just something that wasn't right. And so you're allowed to slow down. I want to tell you, I used to have a problem. I mean, trust me, all of this is from learned behavior. Like all of this, I've learned this to be true. And then also, but I remember I never used to know what I want. I stopped letting myself say, I don't know. And the reason why, like I used to literally, my mom would ask me what kind of cake I wanted for my birthday. And I'd ask her who was coming so that I could choose what other people wanted. I never knew what I wanted. I prioritized everyone ahead of myself. I had no self-esteem, no sense of self, no sense of value, none. And that's why everyone else was more important than me. And I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, I never know what I want. And so I started asking myself in every situation, what do you want? And it takes time to figure that out. And he was like, Julia, here's the thing. Somebody asks you what kind of birthday cake you want, you don't have to answer them right away. You can say, let me get back to you. You're in line at a fast food restaurant and you don't know what you want to eat. You're allowed to let the person behind you go ahead of you so that you can take your time to figure it out. You're engaged and you're not sure if you want to go through with it. You can postpone that wedding date until you figure it out. You're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to wait and listen to yourself and make the choices that are important to you. Now, then there's, but you don't want to hurt him. You don't want to this to him. You don't want to da-da-da-da-da. Okay, who's the subject of that sentence? Do you know what I mean? It's not about him. And you know what? Your behaviors might affect someone. And you can take responsibility for that and apologize and explain. And ultimately, they will be grateful for you getting out now instead of later, for you understanding and showing them the rockiness that's there. I know we play the highlight reel and we think that we're supposed to take these next step forward and maybe that will fix things. Sometimes fixing something is literally putting it down. And so let's try that first before we move forward and push. Even despite the fact that we're walking on Legos. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just wait a second. Maybe let's see what it's like to separate a little, to put more space. Are you happier with more space? I'm a little happier with more space. It's not what society tells us we're supposed to do. And so that part's uncomfortable, but that part is none of my business. This is my life. How does this feel? And allow yourself the time. Lisa, I know that this is hard and you can look at everything that has happened as I should have done different, but just know that it is so good that you now know and recognize what happened and can move forward. So I want to encourage you, move forward. It's amazing that you're taking responsibility for your choices, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to should on yourself. Because that sounds like I'm saying something else. I don't want to shit on you. I don't want you to shit on me. It sounds like something else. And that's exactly what it ends up being. So don't shit on yourself. Shouldn't have on yourself. Literally, it's what it was. I'm going to move forward and live my life today for me because it's my life. It's the only thing I have control over.
And people around you are going to be happier. I mean, you're going to, first of all,
yes, but also that's not your responsibility. You know what I mean? Like you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because when one person is happy, it rubs off on each other. Just like if somebody's angry, it's going to rub off on each other.
It agrees with people, for goodness sakes. People think, oh, that just totally ends the relationship. No, It doesn't have to. I mean, it really doesn't have to. I mean, so many things throughout my life. I have thought, if I make this decision, is it going to ruin someone else's life? I mean, so many times I've said that.
Here's the thing. Let's just go down that line. Let's pretend it does. That means that person let your choice ruin their life. That was their choice. Right. Do you see what I mean? You can't ruin someone's life. It's their life. You need to make sure that if you're making a decision, am I going to do somebody else? What do they have to do with your decision? They don't have anything to do with your decision.
Okay, I'm going to give you another scenario.
Okay.
This is my grandmother, the same one when I would say, well, what if, and she would say, what if pigs had wings? Okay, well, another thing that happened, there was a guy that was in love with her before my granddad comes along. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and she didn't feel right about the relationship. Something wasn't right. Well, my granddad comes into her life. And it's so amazing. So what happened, she was engaged to this guy, and this guy said he was going to kill himself if she didn't marry him. And here's what she did. She looked straight and she said, I believe in being honest with people. I just looked at him and I said, you're going to have to just kill yourself because you're going to be miserable if I marry you because I don't love you. And that's exactly, and then later I said, well, did he kill himself? And she said, no. She said he got married and had 4 or 5 kids.
And here's the thing. Even if he did, not her responsibility. It's his life.
Well, first of all, if somebody's going to kill himself, they're not going to put it out on the news media and tell everybody.
Exactly. But the other thing is, like, I probably wouldn't have said, then you're going to go ahead and kill yourself. But I would have said, like, look, no, please don't do that. Because you deserve a happy life. If I'm not happy, we aren't happy because we is two people. And if one person isn't happy, we aren't happy. And so, like, that's just the way it is. And like that I mean, there's so much about that is so immature and equals other mental issues that are not your responsibility.
That was on him and I said, well, who got married first, you or him? She said, he did.
Honestly, and that's the thing is that's where the idea of marriage is more important than who you're marrying.
Yeah.
Get out of that. That's because society says by this time you should be married. Guess what? I'm 50. I'm not married. I probably never will be. And I'm okay with that because I'm living my best life. Mm-hmm. My cousin, I shouldn't say this because I don't know that it's true, but I have the impression that my cousin thinks I'm miserable because I didn't have the kids, get married, and click all those boxes. She checked all those boxes and therefore equals she has a happy life. Personally, I look at her life and I can't imagine how she's happy, but that's my perspective looking at her life. And so, like, it doesn't matter. Let go of not just shouldn't on yourself, but all the shoulds that society has put on us. Let it go. Let it be and live your life. That, honestly, every single answer of all of the relationship questions goes back to how do you feel? What do you want to do? Take them out of the situation. Take them out of the picture. What feels right for you? What do you want to do? How is that behavior affecting you? It's not a toxic relationship. It's toxic behavior. They're not a toxic person. They're behaving toxically. Can they stop doing that? Can you communicate with them that their behavior is really affecting you in a bad way? Does that matter to them? If the answer is no, get them out of your life.
That's true. Julia, we got to call it a day. I can't believe how fast an hour went.
I know.
So much for watching. Continue sending email. We love them. Julia and I really love them. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. You guys take care. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Julia.